And away from that, leaders of the Southwest region have renewed calls for the true federalism and inclusive governance. It was a show of unity in Akure as governors and traditional rulers from the Southwest met to push for power devolution and governance reform. Hosting the dialogue, Ondo State Governor Aiyedatiwa said over-centralization had stifled growth and called for genuine reforms. Lagos Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu also urged regional collaboration over competition, while Ogun's Deputy Governor Noimot Salako-Oyedele, as well as Afenifere leader Pa Reuben Fasoranti, called for inclusive governance. The regional gathering is holding days after the Department of State Security Service, the DSS, issued a security warning about impending attacks by ISWAP on Ondo and Kogi states.
That our democracy is very much alive and progressing. Our democratic institutions are being strengthened through regular engagement of the people in the electoral processes, as well as the resilience of the various institutions and organs saddled with election management as a whole.
It has always been our strong advantage. Let's show it again. Let us deploy those assets towards a shared regional agenda that will deliver inclusive growth, inclusive citizens' engagement, collaborative, constructive dialogues amongst ourselves.
Than that. Think of that farmer in Akwa Ibom that will bring out his produce on that road, and in a few hours he's selling it in Lagos, or he's able to get it to the port at Ekpe or the Ondo district port. Think of that farmer in Edo. So when we're talking of farm produce perishing, think of the impact of that road when it comes to agricultural produce.
For this conversation, I am now joined by Ondo State Commissioner for Information, Ido Ajanaku. It's a pleasure to have you with us this evening, sir. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now, Mr. Ajanaku, it's quite an interesting time for Ondo State. On one hand, the governor, or rather the government, is hosting its big Southwest stakeholders dialogue on democracy and development. And on the other hand, there's this DSS alert about possible ISWAP activity. One might say it's symbolic. There's leadership on one side, and then there's a talk of security on the other. How is the government managing both optics and safety at the same time like this?
You will recall that last week I issued a statement on behalf of Ondo State government assuring the citizens of Ondo State that there was no cause for alarm, that the security memo that leaked to the public, which is just a routine exchange of memo within the security agencies across the state and perhaps across the country, we came out swiftly to assure the people of Ondo State that there was no cause for alarm. Because a lot of measures have been put in place to ensure the safety of life and property in Ondo State. For example, you will recall that Ondo State has arguably the largest forest reserve in the Southwest. And measures have been taken into consideration because this forest harbors kidnappers and bandits. That is why we were able to deploy drones to all those forests to monitor the activities of those forests with 24 hours surveillance. Not only that, we have also deployed special Amoteco forces with other security forces to parade this forest 24/7, and they were giving special allowances. And as a result of that, so many measures have been also put in place. For example, last 2 months we have bought close about 25 equipped with security gadgets to different security agencies in the Ondo State. I think I'm talking about the Army, the police, and the DSS to ensure that security of life and property is saved. Having said that, we could see for ourselves that despite that little bit scared, you see that Ondo State today is friendly and public because virtually all the political heads in the Southwest, all the way from Abuja, the Minister of Economy and Coordinating Minister of Economy, Mr. Wale, led a powerful delegation from the presidency that is Akure today as I'm talking to you.
Okay.
The governors of Lagos State also here. Another
Mr. Janaku, Mr. Janaku,
yeah.
I beg your pardon, but I heard you say little scare. And I mean, for the people of Ondo State, when you hear ISWAP and Ondo together, it's bound to trigger concerns. Now, the DSS memo mentioned possible attacks on parts of Akoko and Owo. Government called it routine intelligence, but for residents, it sounds anything but routine. So can you clarify what the public should actually take from that warning and what's being done behind the scenes?
That's what I'm saying, that security agencies shared routine memos among themselves. But we, as a government in Ondo State, we are taking a lot of measures to ensure that there was no security breach in Ondo State. For example, if you are following Ondo State in the last couple of months, close about 4 or 5 months now, there has not been a single security breach, even in terms of kidnapping or bandit activities in the Ondo State in the last 5 to 6 months. You can check it as stand to be corrected. This as a result of the measures put in place by the state government under the leadership of Dr. Aiyedatiwa, the governor of Ondo. You know, those we don't make noise here, but we do our work diligently to ensure that the properties, lives and property of the people of those states are safe. So the Ondo State people believe us when we push out the statement that there's no cause for alarm, because they know that various measures have been put in place to ensure their safety, life and property in the state.
So you've asked residents to stay calm, but calm doesn't always mean confidence. People want visible signs that government is actually proactive. So what's specific, and I'm asking a second time, what specific steps are being taken to assure people on ground, reassure the citizens that they are absolutely safe?
Okay, if you come to Akure, the state capital, and various different cities in those states, you see security patrol all over the place. You also have undercover agencies that have been deployed across the state, particularly in the areas that you have just mentioned. Not only that, we educate the citizens of Ondo State daily on both radio and television about the need to report any suspicious activities to different security agencies, and we also have a toll line that you can call and report any suspicious movement within the state.
Well, that's giving security. It sounds like you're giving the security efforts to the citizens themselves. But then again, you have also mentioned that there are other measures on ground. Now, the DSS alert also mentioned Kogi State as well. So it means it's not an isolated concern. It's a regional security issue, as it seems. Is Ondo State working with neighboring states like Kogi State and also federal agencies to share intelligence or mount a coordinated response to the issue?
That's absolutely correct. Because you recall that the security agencies are under the purview of the federal government. But the reality of it is that under the constitution, the governor of each state is the security officer of their state. Don't forget that Ondo State borders with Kogi on the east and border Edo in the Edo State on the south, on the southern part of the state. So there's always a collaboration between the governor of those states, sharing intelligence among the security agencies to ensure safety in that area. So if you ask, is there any collaboration? Definitely yes, because the governors of those states also share intelligence, not only on security, but also on development of their various states.
Now, Mr. Janaku, let's talk about the stakeholders' dialogue. The theme is strengthening democracy through dialogue. But with all the current tension that's happening, some may wonder if it's the right time for such a conversation. How do you make sure this dialogue delivers real substance, not just a symbolic show of leadership?
Are you talking about tension? Are you talking about tension? Where is the tension coming from?
No, not
you are talking about.
No, I'm not talking about. Sorry, would you say that again, please?
I said there's no tension. There's no tension in those states. Those states is absolutely calm.
Oh no, I didn't ask about. I'm talking about the dialogue that's happening. The theme actually reads strengthening democracy through dialogue, and I'm wondering whether this is the time for such conversation with all the security implications happening around Ondo State. So my question is, how do you make sure that this dialogue delivers real substance and it's not just the show?
Well, the fact that this dialogue is holding Ondo State, holding Akure, the state capital, shows you the kind of level of secured, how secure Ondo State and indeed the state capital is. And the reality of it is that in a democracy, you have to dialogue. In a democracy, you want to talk to the people. In a democracy, you want to give feedback to the people. And the reality of it is that we, as a race, especially the people of Southwest, felt that there is a need for us to come together, to come and look at various issues, various things that have been done in the last 2 years, especially under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and look at other ways that our region can adequately benefit more from the federal government. And we also see where we also collaborate with other regions across the country. So the dialogue is part of the democratic process we are talking about, because whether that is done by this time next year, electoral campaign will have spread across the country, and perhaps we don't have the opportunity of coming together like this to speak to one another. That is why we provide this meeting at this particular time, to come minds with our people to ensure that our interests within the Federation is protected.
Mr. Janaku, thank you very much for giving us your evening to be with us on tonight.
Yeah.
We appreciate your presence. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you.